Welcome to the Thrive with Omu podcast, where each week I'll chat with an amazing entrepreneur on their growth journey. They'll be sharing this with us to help and encourage us to take that bold step. Hey guys, this is a special end of year edition. We're so glad we made it to the end of the year 2022. Today, I have with me 5 amazing entrepreneurs from different parts of the world. I have Kelina from Toronto, Canada. I have Shante from Washington. I have Angie from Cincinnati. I have Abigail from Ghana. And I have my sister. Of course, there's no way I can leave out Lagos. I have my sister from Lagos. And we're all entrepreneurs. We're all women. And we're so glad we made it to the year 2022. Thankfully, not bankrupt, not particularly as rich as we wanted to be, but at least we made it. Today, we're just going to share with you, as usual, our challenges in the year 2022, things that happened, what we did right, what we didn't do right. I don't like to use the word wrong. What didn't, where are areas of improvement, not failure. Are areas of improvement, because yes, we did it. It might not have worked, but we're not going to lose hope. We're going to improve on it. First of all, I'll just go around the way it is on my screen and we'll introduce ourselves. Shante, you're on my screen first. Please, can you briefly introduce yourself?
Sure, absolutely. So thanks for having me. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I'm Shante McKinnon. I am the CEO of McKinnon Strategic Consulting Group and also the founder of the Global Money Mindset Mastery. So McKinnon Strategic Consulting Group, we provide business solutions for burgeoning entrepreneurs, nonprofits, corporations, private-owned businesses as well. So with the Global Money Mindset Mastery, that is an international coaching program. And so we teach burgeoning entrepreneurs how to establish their businesses, both locally and internationally, because whatever we do as a small business, it impacts our economy. And so back to the consulting business really quickly, because I kind of brushed past it. With the consulting business, I focus on the accounting, finance, and operations. Right? So the goal is to strengthen the core of your business so that you can sustain yourself in any economic climate. So if there's adverse climate, what do you need to do to sustain yourself to weather the storm? So we're all about solutions across the board. Additionally, I am a director of client solutions for a Fortune 500 company. So I wear many hats. I am an author, I am a minister, and I'm just excited to be on today with all the other beautiful ladies. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Next is Isaac.
Hi, my name is, am I allowed? My name is Izeki Anuge, and I am a values-based educator. And I think I'll have to introduce what values-based education actually is.
Please.
Values-based education is an education that ensures that children are aligned with critical values for the 21st century in a way that it affects their cognitive, socio-emotional, as well as behavioral aspects of their development as they go into adulthood. So we call it the social sciences of values education. I am also an author of a children's book series, and I have sold in 3 years over 20,000 copies of that particular book, created various workbooks around all of my storybooks. Also, we have games, we have other resources, and we run training for institutions so that they understand how to communicate values-based education also to children within their own sphere of influence. I have received awards for my efforts in values-based education because I have been in this line for 6 years, going to my 7th year. I'm excited for the 7th year because, they said 7th year is the year of what? Fullness? That's what it's called. So I'm really looking forward to what the 7th year holds for us. Food lover, absolute food lover, people lover, and yes, I guess that's what more is there about me? Yeah, there's a whole lot more, but I'll leave the floor now, and maybe as we go along, then I'll do a bit more of my introduction. So yes, basically that's me. Oh yes, I forgot to, and I didn't add that yesterday because the new feather to my hat. I am now the creator of an animated series.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my book is now in animation, and we should be on TV, on our TV stations, local TV stations, anytime from March of 2023. So I'm really looking forward to that, because the first time I wrote my book, I saw the mouth of the characters moving, and I wondered how that would happen. I went ahead and I checked how much it would cost. My God, it wasn't cheap. But today I am happy to say, I am grateful to God to say that, yes, shortly, my 2D is going to be live on TV, and I'm really, really excited about that. So yes, my new...
I'm in a room with powerful women. So even if I'm not powerful, with you around me,
You are
I'm powerful. Angie, you're next. Angie, you're next.
Okay, so thank you, Omu, for asking me. I always get excited when Omu asks me to be a part of something, because I know there will be powerful women around me. So thank you for asking me to be here. My name is Angie Snowball, and I am the CEO and founder of Living in America, which is a foreign language school teaching English as a second language to business professionals. And I also am launching a second company, The Snowball Effect, which is a result of what I wish I had learned last year, is to better focus and make sure I'm communicating as a communication consultant what I do. Very often we don't see what everyone else sees. So it's very difficult for us to communicate and tell our story effectively to the right people. And that's what I love helping people do. Specifically on LinkedIn, I think that's a great, powerful, worldwide tool that is very professional to let people know the problems you solve and how we can help each other. So that is a focus that I have for next year. And I'm just really, really excited to be in the room with all of you and hear what else you have to tell me about being better next year.
Awesome, Angie. When we start talking, you would have to tell us about Christmas around the world. Abigail, you're next.
Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here. My name is Abigail Jama Anderson, and I work full-time as a university administrator here in Ghana, and I build my business on a part-time basis. What I do is that I help busy entrepreneurs like myself and coaches with organic strategies so that they can generate leads and sales without frustration. And I decided to choose this particular niche because I realized there are a lot of people online, and some believe that in order to be successful at online business or doing anything online, then you need to quit your job. And I'm here to say that that isn't true at all. You could still be with your 9-to-5 job if you love it, and still build a business by the side. And that's what exactly I'm doing. And so in my business, I offer one-on-one coaching services. I do group coaching. And then I create digital products like courses, workbooks, planners, journals, and of course, Canva templates. And these are all because I know they help busy people like myself to save time and be able to be productive with the little time available on their hands after working their jobs, so that they can build their business and be successful. So I'm really excited to be here with you today.
Thank you, Abigail. Thanks. And my darling from Toronto, Kelina. Kelina, you're muted. Okay, darling.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited to see and meet a lot of ladies. So for me, I am so many things, so many hats, honestly. So first thing is I am a coach. So I coach people with disability. I specialize in depression, anxiety, and self-esteem. Just because myself, who was not born deaf, I became deaf at age 4, and there was a lack of reputation along the disability community. And if you notice, when you go online, you look up coaching for people who have disability, it's very rare to find someone who have a disability. And for me, it's very important to represent people who have disability. And that's why I also wrote a book as well about me being deaf. So my book is called Every Day I Am Just Deaf. And it's really about me being deaf in the hearing community, so that the hearing community can get the perspective what it's like to be deaf. And as well, I'm an advocate, so I do teach people how to be inclusive in terms of closed caption, what is the proper word to represent someone who has a disability, because there's not a lot of awareness and education about a right way to approach someone who has a disability, a right word to use. So that's why I come in the picture to really put a Band-Aid on for both worlds, to really learn how to collaborate together and really make this world a beautiful place. And yeah, so that's about me. And really, honestly, my goal with honestly just connect with different people around the world and just really get to know people, get myself out there really. And honestly, this is the beginning for me because I literally just started the journey. I was there a year and I've been super success ever since. And yeah, so that's about me. Thank you so much.
And Kelina is a graduate of psychology, by the way. And she taught me something. Apparently, when you see a disabled person who is trying to stand up or trying to sit down or stumbling, don't help the person. I never thought that. I said to her that instinctively I'd go to help the person. She said it's wrong. They don't like it. They're used to managing themselves. And when you help them, it kind of, puts them off. And I can get, it sort of rubs it in that they're disabled and they're getting used to their way of moving around. So myself, I'm Omu Obilo. I'm a transformational coach and a renewal and coding specialist. I work with people who are dealing with limiting beliefs like procrastination, low self-esteem, self-doubt, self-loathing, fear of failure, fear of success, imposter syndromes, and the likes. I work with them to move further faster towards achieving their best, living their best life and success, whatever success means to them. So let's get down to business. And please feel free to throw in your questions in between. I'm not the only one who is asking questions, but I think the first thing that I want us to do is just generally evaluate our 2022. What is that one area of success and one area of improvement that you can identify in 2022? Who wants to go first?
I'm happy to go first.
Okay.
I think something that I found in 2022 was time. And I know that everyone struggles with time and where to use it and how to manage it, but it's something I wanted to get even better on. But I've used it already to try and improve my 2023 by automating some of my courses. Like most of you, I'm a coach and there's only one of me, so I can only coach so many people. I also work internationally, so I have time zone challenges. I can't always work at 2 o'clock in the morning to get to everybody that I need to. So automation is something that I'm looking forward to doing more of in 2023. And we also talked a little bit, I met Izette and Shante yesterday about the challenge of being creative people, because most coaches are. I want to do everything and I want to do it right now. I've got an idea and I want to get it done and let's go. And
some people are smiling.
I mean, it's challenging. And then all of a sudden I had this wonderfully managed calendar that I just blew up because it was just kidding. I got to do this right now. So that's my challenge, a big challenge for me. And I'm hoping that just being aware of it is half the battle. So understanding that I have to find that balance for next year. But I think that's my biggest challenge, is trying to manage my time, because I do have a lot of good programs. I've got a lot of great clients. I'm just starting to really feel the pressure of there's only one me. So I've got to find other ways.
The automation I'm also looking into. It's very important.
Yeah, it is. And oh, go ahead, Shanta. I was just going to say it's overwhelming. I think that's why I put it off, because there's so many options of ways to automate, systems to automate.
Yes.
And I just like, where do you start? What do you do?
And there's still more coming.
Yes.
Absolutely. Technology is forever turning over. That's an area that, my business have to focus on for clients as well, integration, like, are you up to speed in terms of what is needed for your business to be sustainable, in this market and survive? Even I have to do that, to Andrew's point. I'm one person who wears many, many hats. And, you know, when you're birthing out your baby, it's very difficult to trust. I don't know if any of you other ladies have any issues with that, but being able to delegate and understand that you are one person, and this, which I believe is a God-given assignment and gift, and sometimes is bigger than you, right? And finding those people, the right people to help delegate and streamline and help you meet all of those many different goals. And I think as women, because we're nurturers and we're the glue typically, right? So we're just trying to manage it all while at the same time not necessarily taking care of ourselves. We talked about this yesterday. I think for me, delegation, I think, would be a success point for me this year. And I had to learn boundaries. Like I thought I had boundaries. I mean, I really did. You know, I think I'm a pretty tough cookie, but I don't know. I realized I wasn't tough enough, and I had to really say no, really clap down, really protect my space and protect me and what I'm building. So
Awesome.
All right, I think I will jump in right here. And of course, aligning with what Shanti and Angie said, of course, I do struggle with some of those things. But, you know, while you were speaking, in truth, I usually shut down my business. You know that by December 1, I shut down, even though that's not happening right now. But usually in the past, I was shut down by December 1. And my shutting down is just to reflect on the year. And since December 1 of this year, I have been thinking about what were my failures in terms of, or maybe I won't call it failures, in terms of things I didn't do, I could have done better. I will get to that soon, but I'll give you one very important lesson that I learned this year, and it's showing up yourself. And what do I mean by showing up myself? I had gotten to the point right after COVID, I had to re-employ my staff because, you know, as soon as COVID hit, you know, you had to let everybody go. Why did I say some people? Let everybody go. And when everybody, where's Amu?
I don't know.
She might have had internet issues. Let's continue. She'll come back.
She's recording because we're meant to be recording this. So
It's still recording.
It's still recording.
Okay, so we're good. And so one of the biggest things I learned about, you know, so I had to re-engage somebody by the end of September 2021. I got this amazing staff, and really amazing staff. Because I'm in values education, you know, I have identified how to pick the right people to work with me. And I got this amazing guy. And, you know, I think I got to the point where I know my strengths as a business leader. I know exactly where my strengths are, and I know exactly where I have my own weaknesses. So one thing I did was to, you know, more or less allow him oversee the parts that he was employed for 100%. And I did not necessarily follow up on those parts. Why do I say that that was one of my errors? So the whole of this year, one of our strategies to get our books into more hands was we were going to attend a lot of trade shows. So from February, we were in trade shows. And this young man was the one in charge of the trade shows. He would go there. I would come there as a visitor, right? I would come as a visitor, come oversee what's going on, and I'm leaving. And again, when you're in the creative space, you find that you have strengths in certain areas and weaknesses in other areas. And those other areas might be administrative, somewhat, at least for me, that's where I have my challenges. And so, you know, I would come in as a visitor, look at him, ask what's happening, walk around, and, you know, depart. Now, come 1 year later, which is August of this year, he had to go for his master's in Australia, and he had to leave the company. Now, that meant I was saddled with the responsibility, you know, of being there at the fair with, you know, what I would call my personal assistant. So we had to be there together. And, you know, I was very angry. I was angry because I felt like I have been working for 6 years. I've gotten to the point, somebody delegate, somebody, I don't have to be doing this. I don't have to do that. I don't. But, you know, graciously I went. The first day I was at the fair. Now, this was a 3-day fair. My very first day at that fair, I felt I was very angry. I was there. This was my work. So immediately, you know, I was able to reset because, you know, once you become a business leader, you train yourself to always have the right perspective to do things right. So you just gain that. And I was there, I said, you know what? You've shown up. While you have shown up, it's important that you give 150% to what you're doing. And immediately I thought like that, you know, my whole mindset quickly switched. And, you know, for the whole year that I have invested in trade shows, that particular trade show turned out to be the very best because right there, you know, at that fair, I sold 300 books. Now, in the past, with my team that I assumed, okay, it's time for me to now delegate, I'm now boss lady, you know, I can now take my hands off. He would come back with 20 books and leads. You know, it was not, you know, the leads were not even strong enough. There were more leads of people that wanted to take money out of the company than the ones that could bring money in, a collaborative effort, a partnership. And of course, every business needs to what? Make money. So it was like I was just turning my money, you know, taking my money down the drain for each of my trade shows. For being there myself for those 2 days, it did something to me. I was telling someone that, you know, I realized that as a business owner, you never take your eyes off any part of your aspect of your business. Especially now that we're about to scale. And it was good that this happened because next year we're planning to scale triple of what we did this year. And I just suddenly realized that I cannot say that I'm not strong enough in any area of my business, so much so that I depend, right, on that team member to now give me the feedback. Because when he left, and I just recently engaged somebody, I'm looking at all the loopholes and I'm taking full responsibility, you know, for that. So I think that was a grave error on my own part, assuming that when you scale, it now means you are a boss and you can no, you don't take your hands off the rein. You keep your hands are still 100% there. So I think that's the very first lesson I learned, that you must be on top of every aspect of your business, no matter how much you scale, no matter how competent you imagine those people are, your eyes must still remain on the ball. So yeah, that was one of my big.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think that it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. When you delegate, I don't think there's certain things that you delegate and you still have to still be there. So they are meant to assist, not take over.
Absolutely.
But I mean, human nature, when someone else is doing it, you feel like, oh, I can go to bed.
I can focus on something else.
Yeah. Abigail and Kelina, do you have anything to say?
Yes. Let me go. Well, I think I would say one successful thing that 2022 had brought to me was to host my own virtual summit. And in fact, this year, I made that conscious effort that in order to expand what I teach my students about lead generation, I was going to explore a number of them myself. And so that included speaking at summits, hosting, you know, joining bundles and giveaways. And then I eventually hosted my own summit in September. And it was successful because my goal was to generate leads, and I had over 400 leads for that. And so it's, I would say, the most successful thing for me to, you know, plan and host my own virtual summit with over 15 plus experts on it, which was called the Extra Income Summit. And for challenges, well, there are a number of them, but I think the most challenging issue for me, which still is payment integration, you know, because for us in this part of the world, Africa, there are so many, you know, most of us do not have access to Stripe and then PayPal as well. It's just some few countries, and I got a PayPal account while in Kenya, and so that was what I was using. But then along the line, you know, they updated their terms and conditions, and so there isn't so much you can do, and you join on other platforms for courses, for other things, and then the payment integration is either just Stripe or PayPal, and then you are stuck. you use PayPal, your money go there, and it's difficult getting access to these.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to look for other platforms like e-commerce. So in fact, some of my courses are all scattered. They are all scattered here and there. You won't find them on one link that you find everything, because you're trying to get the right payment integration. So that has been my major challenge. But then I'm getting by it with, as I said, not one house for everything. I recently found one payment integration, but it's like an e-commerce. So it's not exactly, what you found with like a course hosting, platform or something. But then I'm managing with it and using some local, payment links, that allow for international payments and all that. That's what has been, sort of drawback for me, because I'm not getting things as I want them to be. One-stop shop, you go there and you find everything. Yeah. But I'm dealing with it.
Later on, I'll give you a few hints of one or two payment platforms you might try. They didn't pay me, so I can't be mentioning their names here.
All right, yes. Of course.
Yes. So because part of what I did in 2022, I'm not going to do in 2023 is have free offers. So I'm not going to have free offers. So, but how do you intend to, have you worked out a plan on how to solve that problem in 2023?
Well, as I mentioned, the platform I'm currently using for my digital products, the Canva templates, workbooks, and some few courses, that one is good because I get the link that goes straight to my bank account. So if anybody makes payments, okay, that is. But as I said, it's not particularly meant for that. It's just like an e-commerce store. So you can't have fancy land pages or sales pages with Yeah. Recently I've tried and I've seen that you can create, there are the edits and other versions there that you can use to edit them, insert some images, but then it's not fancy like you find in maybe New Zenla or Kajabi or Katra or any other. So, well, that's what I will get somebody to work on my website based on WordPress. There were issues there, so I intend to solve that one too and see if that can be the permanent solution. Then I host everything there.
You must really be very techy, Kelly.
Well, I do, but there are issues that I can't do it myself.
She's sounding more like a techie person than a coach for income.
We do run into that. I've ran into that, sending like contracts internationally, and sometimes you learn in the process. It's like trial and error. You learn, with there are certain governmental restrictions, right?
Yes, because there was a contract you sent to me 2 years ago and I couldn't sign, and they had to move it to another platform. Yeah. That's true. Kelina, do you have anything to say? She's smiling.
Yeah, definitely. I would say for me, it's time management, just because I have so many people contacting me to collaborate with them. And I always want to say yes, but unfortunately, I have to say no sometimes. And I feel like it's hard for me to say no because I'm such a giver person. And a lot of time I have to understand that I can't manage too much, especially if I'm trying to run my own company. And because it's slowly taken off for myself. And so I'm just really trying to learn how to say no. And honestly, for my goal for 2023, maybe hire a personal assistant or someone that could help me fill up that gap, just because, again, time management can be easy, but at the same time, it cannot be easy, especially if you have so much on your plate, especially personal life. And, majority of people have kids. And I was I don't know, I personally don't have kids. And how do women do this? It's too much work. I can't do it. And I'm only 25 and I'm so young. And I'm I don't even have a kid yet. And I'm stressing. I'm oh my God, what am I supposed to do next? And I'm just okay, no. I'm so my goal is definitely make sure for 2023, I definitely hire a personal assistant or someone that can run my business during maybe after hours. So I'm really trying to figure that out for next year.
Awesome.
Something I found that helps a lot with saying no is not saying no, but saying not right now, not yet, or also
Let me think
collaborations.
about it.
Yeah, let me think about it. And also collaborations with other companies. I mean, I've never thought about passive income, but I sometimes get passive income now in addition to being able to say no, because I can say, you know what, you're not the right fit for me, but this will be a great person for you to talk to. And now it's gotten to that point where like, okay, well, that's a collaboration for me. It's a win-win for both of us. And some people have come to me and said, Angie, this is a little bit more than just being nice. We'd like you to sign an affiliate agreement so we can pay you. But I think that the concept of saying no is something, as Shante said, nurturers, it's not our thing. It's not in our nature to just say no. So finding ways to say, let me think about it, not right now, not yet, not a good fit, but try this person, I think helps me tremendously with being able to keep my time to my own and prioritize what's best for my business as well.
Absolutely. I think that's just one of the things in how we all met. We're part of BNI, and just being able, it just builds your network, right? I call my network my money-making friends, right? To Angie's point, passive income, because I mean, you may get paid for a referral, right? You may not be the capacity, right, to manage what it is that they're looking for, but you know of someone who does. And again, that could be some form of income for you. So I mean, I think it's, yeah, saying no can be tough. Omo mentioned something about, just not taking on any more free jobs, right? What is too much, right? It's good to collaborate. There are going to be times that you're going to have to do it, right? It's good to collaborate, but at what point is it too much? And are you cheapening your value?
Your value. Yeah, that's awesome. Before I ask the next question, anyone who's free to ask a question, they want the ladies to answer. Does anyone have a question they want the ladies to answer?
I think from right now, I would like to ask, and ask everybody, at this particular stage in your business, when you look at your business, do you think you're exactly where you need to be for the time for the season, or do you think you're a bit behind or a bit ahead?
Ahead. Is it more like where you need to be, or where you think you should be, or where you want to be? Well, in terms of where you would want to be. And also, I think also, if I understand what you're saying, where you think you should be, given all the time and effort you've put in. And of course, money. Exactly. So the time, the effort, the money, the connections, everything. Blood, sweat, and tears. Are you exactly where you need to be? Yeah, and basically that's it.
For me, I would say I'm behind. I would say behind just because, truly, honestly, learning how to balance, being my first time in the entrepreneur lifestyle, being a young woman, learning how to collaborate, learning new tools. And I also feel like because technology is always changing and there's always something new. And sometimes and that's what makes me behind sometimes, because something is new. And I'm just like, wait, there's a new payment thing to do, or the new contract, right? So that's for me.
Okay. All right, thank you, Laura. Angie, Shante, Abigail.
Yeah, I feel like I'm behind too, but I'm okay with that. Like, I'm happy with where I am. I'm happy with all the things that I've done. And sometimes I have to stop myself because I'm mad or frustrated that I'm behind. And then I'll look and like, but look how cool you are. Look at all the stuff you already did, but I have to do that to myself to be happy in my moment. At the same time, I'm always behind, and that's okay, because that means I have bigger plans. That means I've got plans that are bigger, that are pushing me ahead. And I feel like if I ever get to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm good, I'd be bored. I'd be bored anyway. And something's wrong with me because I gave up my idea factory. So I think I'm always going to be behind, and speed comes and goes with things in life. But yeah, I'm okay with where I am. It just gives me something to strive for.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Angie. And I think that understanding comes probably with age. Kalina, I would say that, like, when you're younger, you tend to always think you're supposed to be at a certain point, at a certain time, at a certain age. Well, the fact of the matter is that we all arrive at different times, right? So behind is subjective. If it's behind my targeted goal, then maybe yes. But if it's behind in comparison to where someone else is, not so much, right? Because again, in business, there's ebbs and flows. Like I talk about within my business, you're going to have internal risks, but you're going to have external risks. Those external risks, you can't control them. There is really nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do is try to ride the wave. That external risk may feel like it has set you back like 10 steps, right? But as long as you're still going, right, then you still have, what's the word, for lack of a better word, is you still have some meat in the game, if you will. So I think it's subjective. It just really depends on where you are, but I think you have to be okay with it because it's gonna come throughout your career, your business tenure. It's going to be ebbs and flows.
I like that, except that I think she called us old, but other than that, I think that's a great answer, Shante.
Look at Angie's face.
I tried you.
No, not at all. Not at all. I feel like it's because the way that society is, and especially like the way the generation is going, everybody thinks that like because you're young, like you need to achieve this goal. And I feel like a lot of people, especially like women, feel like they should like go ahead a lot of times sometimes, especially when I'm seeing social media, and I'm just like, okay, that's not reality, right? So I think that's what I'm at. But no, you guys are not old, honestly, no.
All right. So for me, I think, well, I'm at exactly where I want to be because at the start of the year, there were so many things that I did not plan for. My goals changed mid-year, and all this online events and collaborations that I'm talking about, they all came mid-year. I decided, hey, let me do this. Let me get into this mid-year. So they were not part of my initial plan for the year. And as Shante said, success is very subjective. So depending on what goals you set for yourself, if you're able to achieve it, then you can call yourself successful. And so there were some, and I always try to be realistic, looking at where I'm coming from, not comparing myself to others. Because as I mentioned, I'm doing a full-time job, and that is enough to take my time. I have family, I have other commitments, that also takes my time. And so there is time that I spend on my business. And so with that time, looking at what I've been able to do within the year, to get in, some of these things that at a point I was able to increase my email subscribers by 800 within 2 or 3 months and some other things. I think I've come a long way this year and I'm happy. Well, I could have done more, but then being realistic with my time limits and all that, I think what I had to do because I need to set boundaries too. And those are some of the topics I love talking about, setting boundaries. Otherwise, you see that you stretch yourself too thin, you're overwhelmed and you have no time for yourself, no self-care, and other areas of your life will suffer. And so if I set boundaries and times for all that, I think what I've done, I'm grateful for that.
Right.
I'm happy for you. I think that I haven't met my own goals, and that is not in comparison with anyone. It's in comparison with what I set for myself. Then again, I taking a cue from what Angie said. So there are two things. Did I set realistic goals? That's another thing. That's one. Two, and like what Shante said, sometimes the external factors, and trust me, in Nigeria, there are a lot of external factors that you have absolutely no control over. So I need to cut myself some slack as well. What I see here is that some of us, and I'm talking about myself really, sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves and that perfectionism thing. And when you get into that mood of, I did not achieve my goal, all you see is the goal you did not achieve. You don't see that, for instance, in Nigeria, the dollar in January was like 400 naira or 300 and something. And today it's about almost 800 naira. So it's increased twice. So there's no way what I planned in January would go exactly the same way. If I planned an event for December, there's no way it would go. So if I planned an event for December in January and I was charging $50, hoping to make a $10 profit, and the event is in December, I would actually be making a loss. I won't even make the $10. I won't even make $1. I would lose because it has doubled.
Inflation.
You know? Yeah.
Okay,
so
that was when you're charging. If you were charging in naira, if you were charging in local currency, then that price would have dropped.
Well, yes. Okay, so maybe I should say an equivalent of.
Yeah. But I think inflation is affecting all of us. I mean, that's another thing. I've got regular clients that I have at a set monthly rate, which was great a year ago, but now it really needs to be double. But I can't walk in and say, sorry, the world's terrible, I'm doubling your cost. It's a tough thing.
Yeah, I know the inflation is worldwide, really. Just that in different countries, there's preparation for it. There's a mindset. They work on you. There's a government assistance. Unfortunately for us, it's all man for himself,
Yeah, so, in America, it's the same, depending on who you are, what you do, you might be on your own, right? So it's almost like a domino effect. And to your point, if you did price it at a certain price, depending on what the cost is now to run that event, that'll probably be a total loss at the set price, just depending on what's going on in the market. And in some cases, if I'm honest, we have to accept the loss, right?
Oh yeah, at some point you have to accept some losses. But what I see here is, in terms of the inflation and the costing and the seeming instability, seems to be common with all of us. So it's basically part of the entrepreneur's journey.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It really is. And Isaiah, you may want to kind of tell us what you feel about because you asked the question. So
yeah, that's true.
Where you are.
That's true.
So I think first thing I would have to emphasize that when I ask the question in relation to your personal goals, because I don't believe I should compare myself to anybody or anybody's other person's achievement. If I was to do that holistically, I would say that I'm far behind. But in relation to my personal goals and what I expect for myself, I feel I am a bit frustrated. So that's how I feel. I feel frustrated that I should have done this, that. So I feel slow. That's just how I feel. I feel like I'm moving I just feel
maybe we should put a jet engine in your system, because if you consider yourself slow, it means you want to fly.
No, but seriously,
it means you want to fly.
Okay, so very seriously, I asked that question because I wanted to know how do you deal with it? Yes, and I took a bit from everybody. Abigail that said that she's exactly where she wanted to be because she had to change her plans. Angie said, you just have to, continue to look at yourself, assess your situation and accept that this is where you are. I took from Shanti, I took from Kalina, I took from Omu. But again, I just feel to myself that I feel like I'm just not moving at the pace that I should be moving at. I'm not achieving, I don't set goals yearly. I don't set goals yearly. I set a goal that should last me for 2 years because I can't keep grinding. I don't know, there's a way I see it in my head. So each of my goals should take me for 2 years. So I moved from last year's I continued from 2020 into 2023. So it's now that I have to review and reset my goals. So when I look at it as that lump, I now feel to myself that I think I'm not doing enough, and I wonder, should I get more organized? Should I get more? Yeah. So basically, that was why I asked the question. I feel I'm slow. I really feel very slow, really slow. So yes, that's how
I think there's always going to be room for improvement in our business because the world is evolving. So we'll have to evolve with it. And I think it's normal for us to be frustrated as entrepreneurs. And I think that that's why these types of conversations are necessary. They need to be had because it's a different kind of baby. Like while everybody on social media appears to be a boss, it's really a small percentage of business owners, right? And it's a unique calling and everyone doesn't get it, right? I think the frustration is normal. It's going to be a part of it because I think you will always feel as though you're not doing enough, which I think is a necessary frustration to have.
Yes.
Because it keeps that drive and that ambition that we
because when you get satisfied, then you're satisfied. Then there's
plateau,
nothing
right?
there's nothing driving you.
Right. Yeah, there's nothing really pushing you, right? So I think that the frustration, while as aggravating as that is also necessary and needed to kind of keep you evolving and keeping that ambition at the forefront of your business, which will help you grow and expand over time. And, my keyword, sustain yourself, right? Transcend as the years are progressing.
All right, thank you very much.
I see Kelina nodding her head. We've done an hour. I didn't think we were going to do an hour, but the conversations are so interesting. This was meant to be an end of year thing. I'm just considering getting us back in 3 months to see how far we've gone for the first quarter of the year and hold ourselves accountable.
I love that idea.
So if there's one thing we want to be held accountable for, or one thing we think we're going to do the first quarter of the year, I'd like to hear us share.
Aye. The first quarter of 2023, I'm going to let go and let God.
Awesome. I will be watching you. I will be watching you. Don't worry, ladies. I'll let you know when she tells me she's not going anywhere and I find her at the end of the town.
And I'm saying it out and holding myself very accountable.
Awesome.
Go and letting God. The vision is not mine, it belongs to God. And I have to allow him, take me through the seasons and let me not feel quite, no, this has, so yeah, I just want to let go and let God.
Awesome. Who goes next?
Well, that was good. Can I steal that? That was good because, I'm a believer, even in ministry, sometimes we always want to know the future. And it's so funny because I had a conversation with myself this morning. Yes, I was thinking out loud, by the way. But I was just saying, it's not always good to know so far in advance because I think it doesn't allow you to be. And I had that very similar conversation, like just take it day by day. Trust that when God has given you the plan and the vision, he's going to make the provision. He's going to give you the wisdom, the knowledge, the intel that you need to progress. Allow him to do that, right? And so I am guilty of always trying to figure it out.
Yeah, play God.
Yeah.
Mine is much more tangible. Oh, go ahead, Kelly.
Okay, I was gonna say for me is honestly to just really go with the pace in life, like not to think that I'm behind, like Shanti was saying. So I feel like that would be for me, like just relax and just let things go.
Everyone is talking about relaxing, so no one is going to do anything with their business.
Opposite.
And no one is going to make Okay, well, you're trusting God, so He would guide you on what to do with your
So
business.
once
Okay.
everybody has finished saying what they have to say, I would like to just chip in very briefly about
Okay.
that.
Okay.
I have a very tangible goal. So March 1st is my goal to have my LinkedIn book published. So I've been holding on to it, trying to be a perfectionist, and I'm just like, okay, we're gonna let it go, but in a tangible way. Like that's my first quarter goal, is to get that published and out.
Nice.
Abigail, are you going to be the Vice Chancellor?
No, well, my goal is to hold my second summit, a virtual summit, and I haven't started serious planning yet. I'm still looking at the idea, and basically it takes like 90 days if you have all the support and the resources, from plan to hosting. So I'm looking at maybe by March or so or thereabout, I should be able to hold my second summit, probably on lead generation strategies for 2023 or something. So that's what I'll be working towards.
Awesome. So by 2020, by the first quarter of 2023, I'm planning a retreat for summer. By the first quarter, I should have had the location and the registration page. I should be clear on everything, including the costs, by the first quarter of the year. I've spoken it and I'm scared.
Well, you
know what? I've been looking at retreats as well, but then I've just been.
Ghana is a fantastic. I have actually explored Ghana.
my foot in it, so I would love to hear your.
Okay, don't worry, we're together. Okay.
That's to talking about plan and our businesses and what we're planning for next year. I have observed that we have so many templates for what a business should be doing, build a structure, build a this, set your goals, set your that. And the one reason why I said I was going to let go is because I realized that those templates, they sometimes put me under pressure when I can't get it right. Those are part of the things that frustrate my efforts, to just be and just, because sometimes I do believe that there's some businesses, especially because we are women, and I'm going to talk about women in Nigeria, not any other country. We live in a very patriarchal society, and that means that for women, what a man can achieve in a year and, with speed, a woman will probably take a longer time, to achieve. I think you will agree with me on that. Our society is very patriarchal.
Absolutely.
Women are just trying to come up, and so there's a lot that women within my own society have to learn as far as business structure and all that is concerned. And while we still have so many organizations building and developing women in areas of entrepreneur, I think there's still that need for me to sometimes breathe, because how I got the vision for my own business, it wasn't because it was a supernatural thing, in my opinion. And sometimes I don't remember that while there's a template for how a business structure should be, there's no template for how the runner of the vision should now be, how the person running that vision should be. And sometimes we need to take that step backward. And as someone has testified since yesterday, I drive myself like a horse. I don't have a day that is free. I don't have a day that I'm not doing anything. I don't have a season that I'm less busy. I don't have a season in my life that there's nothing happening. I always create things to do.
So in 2023, you should have a day that you're not busy.
Yeah, absolutely. So that structure, business should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be doing that. Who should I? Because I need to be for my business to become all of it that it can become. I feel myself, drive myself to rubbish, my business will end up being rubbish. So in the first quarter,
I need to be to become.
I need to be for the business to become. So we already have, we have a new book that we are launching, as Amu said, was supposed to be launched next year. I have insisted we are launching the 4th book this year. We have a game, I have a jigsaw puzzle, I have merchandise. We've created all of these things. So I need to now take a back seat, and really be grateful for the work that I've done, appreciate myself, not put myself under too much pressure, and really go back to the maker and say, now you gave me this vision. This is all ahead of me. What are we going to do? This year we got our accreditation. I got so many things this year. And if you ask me,
you should actually be celebrating, not not thinking like, so you see.
There's so much done this year.
Yeah.
I should be in a dance right now, a serious dance, but all I'm thinking about is what I need to. So next year, first quarter.
You've reported yourself. I didn't have to say anything.
Yes, reported myself.
Set boundaries.
Okay.
I need to set
Yeah.
boundaries.
Okay, ladies. I know that we've overshot our time, and that means that is a signal that we have to do this again. I am really grateful to have had all of you here. Honestly, you would not understand what this has done for me. I appreciate each and every one of you for your time, taking out time to be here. And I do hope that we all took something away and our listeners would also take something away. Thank you. Thanks and bye.
Bye. Thanks, Amu.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Thrive with Omu podcast. This is your host, Omu Obilo.